it's a bad draft. Just like people, like the big, broad overall view, like your lead takeaway has to be you sucked in the wrong year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, you got lucky. Good year to suck, especially when you needed a quarterback. Okay, so you got
We'll see.
Fortunate there. It looks like you have a quarterback.
That wasn't me. That was Jimmy Stewart. I didn't say anything.
With one win.
Looks like you have a quarterback.
We'll see.
Do you disagree? It doesn't look like you have a quarterback?
I mean, look at the garbage time throws versus the real time throws. And Bedard graded a Joe Milton game as better than a Drake May game. Those are facts.
Do you think they have a quarterback, Murray?
We'll see.
Unbelievable.
I think they have a quarterback who's got real potential is how I would put it.
There's potential there. That's how I would put it, too. We'll see.
Well, that's all. That's all you the potential.
That's all you can have at this stage.
And it took no skill. They just kind of fell into the guy.
Oh, I give him no credit.
With one win.
They were lucky.
Same number of wins as Jacoby Brissett and Joe Milton last year.
They were lucky they sucked in the right year, and the kid fell into their lap, and he still isn't proven. I mean, you'd admit he has the traits.
Tools, yes.
Yes, he's toolsy.
Yes, definitely.
NFL caliber arm, athleticism.
Yes.
That thing.
Yes.
I don't know if he can win games either.
Me neither.
Hasn't done it yet.
Nope.
Really, if you want to break it down, completed one miracle. I don't know if it was lucky, but on the road.
It was a hell of a play.
On the road to lucky, but a one miracle out of his ass play.
I mean, it was a freelance play. The thing had completely broken down, and they made it play. So I'm more concerned about his ability to make the structured plays over and over again.
Okay. So that got me sidetracked a little bit. What was I saying?
The draft blows.
Last year, good year to suck. You got a guy at quarterback. Maybe. This year, not a good year to suck.
No.
Just is what it is.
No,
So
this year they got to all show improvement.
we have to recalibrate. However,
This year, you actually have to scout and hope that your scouting department doesn't stink.
best player available. Good job, Barthy. So you have to recalibrate. However, my recalibration has a limit. Just because it's a sucky draft doesn't mean you haul off and draft a running back at 4.
Right.
Best player available. Just because, Barthy, it's a sucky draft, you don't haul off and draft a tight end at 4. I'm sorry, you don't. You still don't draft that position that high.
but running backs, the nerds told me. No.
No. Just because it's a sucky draft, you don't draft an alleged tackle with measurables that haven't excelled at the position in over 25 years. And that's why I am steadfast. No one has told me this. I have no insight whatsoever. Just using my gut or my instincts. They will not draft Will Campbell at 4. And I don't think you do. Even if it's a down draft, you don't do that. I think that these defensive players are closer to commanding a 4th pick, whether it's Jalon Walker, Mason Graham. I might have a little insight on Abdul Carter or more than just my gut.
Oh,
That Carter is dropping. Well, I can see the way he's being talked about and mock drafts. I know whatever that's worth. The mock drafts are done by these draft guys who talk to people. So maybe it's a fake drop. Maybe maybe there's something going on there.
I don't know if you had heard like Seaport whispers or anything.
Someone's pushing him down the board. Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't. All I know is I see what I see on Abdul Carter, and I hear the reporting from Bob McGinn and Greg Bedard and others that talk about his off-field thing. And I see Drew Rosenhaus, for all intents and purposes, release a statement through Adam Schefter saying his foot is great, not an issue, which, should be a warning sign for anyone that Rosenhaus sees the slip and the slide and he's trying to get out ahead of it, trying to stop the bleeding is what I think Rosenhaus is doing. So if I had to guess, the reason they're talking Jalon Walker is because they're out on Abdul Carter. Just a guess.
Well, Abdul Carter, I don't know if you saw this today on social media, certainly feels strongly about himself, just put out a photo of Lawrence Taylor. Does he fancy himself like Lawrence Taylor?
Oh, he definitely does.
Oh.
So I wouldn't hold that against him. And there's also, again, I've got big board begins on Monday, folks. I got my Lindy's Sports Draft Annual, just looking for the weaknesses under Abdul Carter.
Oh, you bought the same one I did.
I know, but I had to go back. I made a mistake. I ordered Athlons or Lindy's, and we have Lindy's. I had to go back and order Athlons.
You're going to get it in time?
Yes. Well, it says it's going to be there on Monday. I had to get it on eBay from some guy in Minnesota.
Okay.
And I'm not even on eBay. I don't know how this works, but this came via eBay too. You can't buy these anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, bookstores and magazine stores magazine racks aren't around anymore.
They
don't exist.
I went to a grocery store yesterday. There was a big magazine rack. I'm like, oh, this is old school. No draft guides.
Nope.
You used to be the whole bit began. The big board bit began back at EEI. Larry Johnson would walk in with all these draft guides, and he'd be reading all these draft profiles. And of course, they never drafted the guy. Half the guys sucked. Of course. Like, Larry, what are we doing? What? This is pointless. Rest in peace, Larry Johnson. Love the guy, sweetheart. But he bring in these draft magazines. This is like the dumbest thing I've ever done, which is why we do it now. We mock it.
How's that working for you?
Yeah, we get some sandwiches. So
the athlon you mentioned, that like you said, it's all nonsense. I wrote their preview, not for football, for baseball.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Like a fantasy thing?
Yeah, basically.
So the weaknesses.
Definite nonsense.
The Lindy Sports Pro Football Draft Guide for Abdul Carter's weaknesses. They only say off-field issues. Weaknesses. One of his weaknesses. He has off-field issues with a misdemeanor assault charge. So this is the thing where he pushed down the tow truck driver. This I do not think is I don't think that's what's going on with him. I mean, I have no idea. But how could you drop a guy for getting aggressive with a tow truck driver? I mean, not that you would support that or say that's a good deal, but he's a football player, all amped up on
Who knows what?
Testosterone and who knows what.
Yeah, unless it's an indication that there's other stuff there that we don't know about.
So if that's an indication there's other stuff that we don't know about, yes. I think it's more he doesn't practice. He's not a good guy during the week. He'll show up on Saturday or Sunday, but he's hard to reach during the week, or he doesn't practice during the week, or that thing. That thing we heard from Bob McGinn's people and others. Like that I feel is sort of adding up on Abdul Carter. I don't know. We can all see him drop down the board in these mock drafts. So that I know we've hit on a couple times this week, but that to me is like the interesting thing from the week. If you had said going into this that Abdul Carter would be available to you at 4, you'd say automatically that's a pick that you're making.
Yep.
Now I don't know. Why are we hearing so much about Jalon Walker? And I think that maybe the same thing that's dropping Abdul Carter elsewhere is dropping him here. What if they're close?
Oh, I think they probably are close. Physically, I asked Barth to look this up yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the combine stuff.
Yeah, the measurables are not that different. They're just a tick better for Abdul Carter. So, and height and weight, similar. Abdul Carter is 6'3", about 250. The other kid's about 6'1", 243 or something. So there's a little bit of difference in size. And there wasn't a ton there in terms of speed and... they didn't have all the measurables on both guys when I asked for it, but they're, physically they're reasonably close.
So how much do you put into work ethic?
Some.
Yeah, I'm okay with them putting something into that.
But again, so just because he doesn't show it in practice doesn't mean it's not there in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys, as you had said in the past, some guys are gamers. They just show up on game day.